This latest scandal involving Boris Johnson. It's been reported today that the Prime Minister himself was one of more than 100 members of staff invited to a Downing Street garden party at the height of lockdown in May 2020. And then the instruction on the invitation was to bring your own booze. Now, this is just another example of the hypocrisy of the elites and politicians and the health bureaucrats and God knows who else throughout this whole pandemic. I mean, people in Britain must be looking at this and going, this bloke is playing us for fools.
This is actually really shocking. And as you say, it captures the staggering hypocrisy of the elites during the lockdown period. So what we have here is a situation where 100 people were invited to Downing Street to have drinks together in the garden at a time when the rest of us were only allowed to meet one other person outdoors. So those were the rules. It was against the law to meet more than one other person from a different household, and yet they were inviting 100 people. Apparently 30 or 40 people actually turned up, and apparently that includes Boris and his wife. And when Boris was asked about this, he smirked and he said, well, it's all going to be investigated. It's actually quite repulsive, the way that they behaved, that they would enforce these rules on the population, force us to live in pretty extreme, illiberal circumstances, and then behave however they pleased. I think this is a bit of a turning point for Boris Johnson's government, because a lot of people out there are now asking, why were we forced to live in the way that we did while the government did whatever the hell it wanted? So there's lots of questions for them to answer.
Well, it just makes a mockery of the quote-unquote health advice and everything we were told to do. Most of us did the right thing, but, you know, those who are telling us to do it, they can do whatever the hell they want. I mean, no wonder people are so upset with the way they've been treated through this pandemic.